recording at this point?
I am. Hello and welcome to another marvelous on-site review from Review After Watching.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there? That was pretty good, right?
That was pretty good.
They're paying you the big bucks
Oh,
over there,
that's
right?
how I get the money, man. I said,
Welcome.
the mouse cutting those checks. But welcome. Thank you guys for joining us once again. As you couldn't guess, we just got out of the newest Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. We got to see Brie Larson taking on the Skrulls and just kicking butt all over the galaxy.
Yes, sir.
But my name is Brandon Church, and as always, I am joined by my father, Chris,
Hello, everybody.
and my little sister, Jocelina.
The one and only.
That's right. So we're just going to get right into this. We're not going to really talk too much because everybody's excited about this. Everybody's been looking forward to this movie. We all wanted to know what's going to happen. Like, the Avengers movie comes out next week, people.
Man.
So everybody's excited, just all the energy.
It does?
It comes out.
Comes out in April, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not next week. Is it?
Next
I'm sorry, I did say next week?
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Sorry, I meant next month. I
okay.
meant next month.
All right.
But I mean, it's coming out. Everybody's excited. They were like, whoa, this is going to be the movie that, like, is going to bridge the gap. Are we going to see something?
Well, yeah, it's definitely the final film before the end of this Infinity War saga that got going on. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now we got to see this film because, like, is this film going to be relevant for, like, the next film coming up in April? So
Brand new character. Never seen her before. Don't know anything about her. Unless you've read the comics and you have some idea. But for everybody else, it's completely just out of nowhere.
right? They're like, oh my gosh, Captain Marvel, who is this person? So it's Brie Larson comes into the film, and it's an interesting thing. Wasn't too excited when I first saw the trailer. What was you guys' initial impressions when you guys saw the trailer?
No, I didn't think. I wasn't sure exactly what they were going to do. Didn't look like it, would work or where she's going to fit in. Wasn't sure exactly how they were going to do this. Very interesting.
Yeah, man, I had kind
I
of.
was prepared to be skeptical.
I was skeptical too. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I think Brandon was the only person that was really excited when he first saw the trailer.
Well, I don't know
right?
if I would say excited. It was more like I was on the fence. I didn't know if it was going to be great. It could have gone either way. It could have been a complete great movie or it could have been a horrible film. I didn't know. The trailer was kind of vague enough where I didn't know which way it was going to go.
Yeah,
And I was willing to give it a shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me. It was just like didn't really look good too good from the trailers. But the Marvel machine has been working for like 10+ years now, and it's just they have this formula down that like you just kind of go in there and like, really, can you name a bad Marvel film?
I mean, yeah, we had this discussion before.
I mean, yeah,
And we went through. We started naming some bad Marvel films.
it was like Thor 2.
It was Thor 2. No, it was Thor 2. Then it was Iron Man 2. There was something else in there that we threw in.
Well, there
I
was
like
a couple
Iron
that
Man
didn't
2.
work.
But I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
Iron Man
but
2 was not good.
It wasn't good.
I haven't seen a lot of things since we saw it in the movie theater.
It was like
well,
like
you never
Spider-Man
really watch
3.
movies at all. That's
No.
your fault. So
Yeah, nah. So, but for this one, this is the crazy thing, right? So the reason I didn't know is because I know how Captain Marvel is in the comics,
right.
and what her powers are, and how she's able to function. And so that was a little scary because I'm like, well, she's too powerful. Like, this universe is, relatively grounded. They have a couple guys with some really strong abilities, but if she's what she is in the comics, she's basically a god. She'll just destroy everything.
Yeah, in the comic books, man, she is just a destroyer. She's just like, her like nemesis in her comic book series are just like, like Galactus or something. Like she has like really foes that she tries to take down. So, what would her powers be in this film? Like, are they going to scale them down? Are they going to change the origin of her powers from what it is in the comic books? So, there was a lot of questions as a fan of Captain Marvel going to this film. You're just kind of curious how the Russo brothers, is that correct?
No, they didn't do this one.
Oh, well, how Marvel itself was going to handle this character, right?
Yeah.
So, those were my, like, feelings going into this film. Just, a lot of curiosity, and just seeing how everything would come together.
But see, now it's here.
It
See,
is
now
here.
we've seen it, so we can sit there and talk about
We can.
all of the good and the bad.
Man.
Because this movie, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, it's been getting a lot of mixed reviews. Some people,
No, I haven't heard anything about the review.
Yeah, I've been trying not to read
I didn't
details.
read any of them, yeah.
yeah, try not to read details, but just
Try to
kind of absorb it. Like you go look on a news site and they're just there.
Nah,
right?
I click away. I wanted to just create my own opinion.
But a lot of the mixed reviews, most of the people have been saying like, or that I read, I should say, they've been saying things like, it's a good movie. It's not that it's a bad film, but it's just at the wrong place. Everybody's so excited for Avengers that you want more information leading into that, and this movie doesn't quite give you that because it's taken place so far in the past. So they say it's a good movie, but kind of at the wrong time. That was the general consensus that I saw.
It kind of stands on its own, though. As an origin movie, it's better. It's good. It's better than I was thinking in my head. I was going to be really critical, no, I guess I get it, but it can stand on its own.
I mean, no, I echo the same sentiments because, like, its movie on its own, it's fine. It's just like we all want to know what's the next chapter of Avengers, right? So just like going into this film, you just like you watching it because like, okay, it might be relevant for Avengers, so I have to go see it. So you kind of not obligated, but you as a fan of the series for like where it's currently at in the story, you just don't want to miss a beat because it was such a cliffhanger. So you go in to see Captain Marvel. I personally think this film, I wish it would have came like 5 years ago.
That's what a lot of people say.
I really wanted it to come 5 years ago because just where we at in terms of the character dynamic of who we have on screens, especially like the Avengers, like we're like 3 movies each deep with each character, like at this point in time. And just having like an origin story from what we've been watching right now, it's just a weird pace to go back to.
Yeah.
Especially with the Earthlings that we have. Like Thor's over there doing his own thing, rocking out to some like, rock at this point or 80s music. What was it? Like whatever. My point is that Captain America, Scarlet Witch, all the ensemble that we're used to, it's just like, they have a dynamic. They're playing off each other. They have a history.
Yeah.
And, you go into the film with just like the feeling that you have previously. Now you start Captain Marvel like, I don't know none of these people. Which is not a bad thing, but
it's not that you don't know anybody.
You know all
Nick Fury's in
You know all these characters.
And that's
in
what
the comic book world.
And that's what my opinion of this film is at. Like I think Captain Marvel excels at being an origin story for Nick Fury.
Yeah. That's
the part of the film I thoroughly enjoy when like Samuel L. Jackson's on screen and just like seeing him being not necessarily the Nick Fury that we know in the films today. Like this Nick Fury, it's like the film takes place in the '90s, so it's a younger Nick Fury, a less experienced Nick Fury. He doesn't really know a lot of stuff about the universe,
and he's not as hardened. In the later movies, he's very, very hard. He's rough. He's tough. This one, he's a little bit more jovial. He's willing to. He's just kind of playing around. He's like, wow, this is a lot of stuff happening. I'm just going to roll with it.
At this point, he hadn't seen a lot of stuff.
Exactly. So
in this incarnation of Nick Fury,
and in this short amount of like 24 hours, like he's hit with everything imaginable, and he's just kind of rolling with it. He's like, well, I guess we're here.
Actually, they could have inserted this movie in a million different places in between all the other movies because of the way that it starts. You could have started the whole series off with her. You could have inserted her after Iron Man. You could have inserted her anywhere along the line, depending upon what you were going to do.
Well, I mean, it takes before. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's a credit to the writing for the film. It just like this film feels like it could have happened any other time besides March 2019. So I mean, that's not saying the film is bad. It's just like as fan, I've seen every film of these Marvels.
No, you haven't.
Okay, besides Ant-Man. Okay.
Besides what?
Ant-Man.
And Ant-Man 2, right? You haven't seen either one of them.
Man, I don't pay attention to insects like that. So, like...
You're missing out, man. It's going to be critical for Avengers. You need to watch them.
I need to watch it, and I will watch it, like, during this time, but, like, I can't find it on any streaming service besides the second one.
I mean, I own it.
My point is, like, man, I've seen every film and just kind of like, I just kind of want to see what's happening next. But, so yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, going back to him real quick. My God, what did he do? He was such the CGI with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that. They did a fantastic job with it.
What, with his
CGI.
Yeah, de-aging him.
De-aging him.
I mean, he
looked older to me.
He looked young.
He looked horrible.
He looked pretty young.
At one point, he looked like Black Frankenstein.
I don't think
there was a piece on there where his forehead was sticking over his eyes.
You need to see it
prominent.
Yeah, okay. You need to see what he looks like now. They made him look much younger.
He was young.
They did a really good job because they were able to keep it up throughout the entire film, like consistently. Because it wasn't like he had a minor role. He was in there.
He had a pretty decent role in this movie.
So they did a pretty good job. I was pretty surprised.
They did a pretty good job with everybody. What I did like, and give kudos out, is their attention to detail. I always talk about the people that do the background, do the sets, all the little things that really make the movie, and all the little intricacies in this movie. Without, pay attention to the background, pay attention to where they are, what they're doing. Really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of callbacks, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think that this movie could have been done earlier, because there's a lot of stuff in there that we see in other Marvel films that they've referenced, or even as a Marvel fan, you'll understand, and you can get a general sense of where the cinematic universe is going to go.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain, I don't want to say too much, but there's certain things in there you'll be like, oh, okay, so they're doing this, or they've shown this. I see where that might play a relevant role later.
Yeah, they do a lot of fan service or just like slight nods to, if you've seen the previous films, you kind of be like, oh, okay, so this is that, or this is this. So so it's good if you're a fan of the series going back into it. You got those little, lore canons that you have with the MCU. So that's really cool to have those nods. But speaking of callbacks and recalls, how do you guys feel about, this film takes place in the 90s. How do you feel about like the blockbuster references or just,
I mean, I felt like it would have been better if they didn't,
of the age
if they didn't show it in the trailer so many times. Like, it's the first thing I saw.
The film takes place in like the 80s, man. Those cars are old.
Yeah,
it was in the 80s? I thought this one was like in the 90s.
And that's what I'm talking about, people. Attention to details. All the little references. Since he's trying to tell you what decade it took place.
Yeah, man, it had rocked the vote.
Well, everybody knows the decade. Yeah.
It was that time. I think it was 85 or 86.
The attention to the computers, all the little things that you're going to notice are really going to make you smile, whether you read the comic books or not. There's a lot of nods to just regular people.
That's there for the adults, the ones who were around during that time, who understand and get the jokes. And the kids will get it too. They just see like, oh, well, that's crazy. I'm not used to that.
No, it's 1995.
It's 1995?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And that's why it felt...
The internet's full of lies.
That can't be 1995.
It's 1995. Like, they didn't have 80s cars in 1995?
I mean, they did.
Come on. Like,
80s cars in 1995.
I'm just saying, like,
I thought
they had
the
internet.
mid-80s or late 80s.
They had internet.
Yeah, but it was...
The internet wasn't in the 80s?
I guess that's true.
No, yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know when the internet was invented.
They had
I don't
computers
remember.
when I was in school.
No, not
they
the
had
internet.
computers. I'm talking about the internet. What do you think, man? No, my
Hey,
generation, 90s
we
babies.
have to call Al Gore. He invented the internet.
The millennials are relevant for the
you're
internet.
a 90s baby. Like a baby. You don't know what was happening.
I do. And that's why when I watched the film, I was seeing all these references, kind of disappointed. I'm the same. It didn't do nothing. It didn't tickle my pickle. I was trying to understand what was going on.
It was making me smile.
What do you mean you couldn't understand what was going on? What was so complicated?
I was just like, this wasn't doing it for me. I guess. I don't know.
Well, I feel sorry for you because it was making me smile. There were a lot of inside jokes. As an ordinary person or a fan of the comic books, there's Easter eggs. There's all kind of little things that you can really enjoy.
That's cool.
I found that surprising and refreshing.
I'm glad. Okay, I'm glad that it hit that chord for you. I mean, like, I'm just being for real. Like, I think it. It was supposed to hit it for somebody, and I'm glad it hit it for one of you. So.
Yeah, not the millennials, apparently.
I guess not.
Not the 90s babies.
It was.
I liked it.
I liked it because there was 3 origin stories going on in here.
3.
Yeah, Coulson's origin story.
I mean, I guess.
I guess so.
Oh, man, he's
Not
important
really.
to the universe right now.
No, he's
in the
important
current
to the
universe that they're running right now, Marvel.
Yes.
Coulson is a very important person,
No,
and
he's
why
not.
and why he's so loyal to Nick Fury.
Yo, the
He's
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
definitely
show, like, they don't
loyal
play.
to
Like,
Nick
they
Fury.
actually go into very good
Extreme
detail.
I guess so. So if you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Which it's a great show.
Yeah, but it's not canon to the MCU.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Coulson's been in every movie.
Yes, it absolutely is.
I thought they don't like each other and don't get along.
No.
Coulson has not been in every movie.
He's been in. He was in the first one.
He hasn't been in any movie since the
First one.
After Avengers 1, he hasn't been in any movie until this one.
Who do you think Coulson is?
Coulson. He was in
The white guy.
He was in the Civil War
Card.
one.
No, he was not in Civil War.
He was not in Civil War.
He got killed by Loki in Avengers 1.
Yeah.
And he has not been in any movie since then until this one.
Yeah, he got resurrected. in
No,
Agents of
but he was in.
Spoil,
He was in Civil War.
No, he
He
wasn't.
wasn't. That was you talking about the guy from The Hobbit.
Well, wait a minute. That was I'm sorry, you're right, because that was they tied in the TV show to end exactly where Civil War picked up.
Exactly. There you go.
You're getting confused between the two.
Because he's all over the place. He's everywhere.
Like,
I
if you
know.
watch the show, like, I don't know how
I
many
know
people.
what's going on with the show.
They do some stuff. So I actually haven't watched it in a while, so I don't know how they're tying into Captain Marvel.
Man, they got Ghost Rider in the show now.
I know.
Got Ghost Rider out there.
I've seen it.
So-
You're far behind.
I'm so far behind in the show. So Coulson's in the movie, so it's great to see a younger version of him in the film. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
cool.
it was cool that they added him in because it made sense. He would have been there. So it's
Yeah.
cool that he's back into
But
the Marvel universe.
it wasn't an origin story for Coulson father. Like,
It wasn't. Not
his
even.
In the sense of the origin and why he becomes loyal to Nick Fury, how they
doesn't show
become
why.
He
friends.
didn't show why
Wait a
he's
minute.
loyal.
Wait a minute.
No, he
I
didn't.
don't want to spoil it.
No.
But, a bond.
No, I know what
you
you-
could see that a bond was going to be created between the two of them. He even comments on it.
Yeah, he
Okay,
comments on
and
it.
because you've seen the rest of the shows and the rest of the movie, you know where this goes,
And that's
you know where
it's not an
they're of
origin
one
story.
mind.
Like,
Yeah, but that
Captain
doesn't-
Marvel's an origin
It's
story.
an origin of their relationship.
No, nothing
of their
significant.
friendship.
Nothing
No.
significant happened where they'd be like,
That
oh.
was
No,
significant.
you inferring everything.
When he said that to
no,
the guy.
it wasn't. It's just like
You haven't watched all the episodes. You need to watch all the episodes, and you'll understand exactly what their bond is about.
man,
Okay, we're talking about the movie. We're not talking about TV show.
I just said it was a relationship, another origin story that
it
was
wasn't
in
an
there.
origin story.
An origin story of their bond and friendship.
It wasn't, my friend.
Nah,
It was.
I'm a
You're
judge.
going to eat your words as soon as you watch the rest of the
I know what
series.
you're talking about. And
No,
some-
you don't.
That's
Yes,
a
I
review
do.
of the show.
No, but it's still an origin story of their friendship and their
doesn't.
relationship.
The only way you get it is if he watched the show, like you said. So it has nothing to do with this movie.
And
Guys.
what? But I commented on the fact that it was like a third origin.
Dude, he's not even in the movie for like
To
2
those
minutes.
that know.
It's less than 2 minutes he's in the movie.
Well,
He's in the movie more than that.
No, he's not.
He's
really
in there
not.
at least 5.
No.
Yeah, he's in there. Okay, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
He's not in
no,
there.
he's not 2 minutes.
It's like a
2
little
minutes screen
Easter egg.
time.
It makes sense to you, and it kind of starts to tie
There's
everything
nothing
together.
significant about
It is
He just
definitely
works for Nick Fury.
significant.
That's it. There's nothing new we
No,
learned
he's
about
more
him.
than just works for Nick
There's
Fury. He's
nothing-
loyal to him.
We've
You
learned
need to
nothing
watch
new
the
about
series. You
this.
have
I
no
know about
idea
the
what you're
series.
talking about.
I know about
They
it.
did it very good.
Back to Captain Marvel.
Man.
Okay, Brie Larson. I do want to comment on the fantastic actors they got. I'm really glad that Marvel movies are able to get some of these high profile and these veteran actors and actresses to come in and really kind of just take these roles and make it their own. You know, it started with what's her name from Doctor Strange? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Who played the Master? What is her name?
I actually don't know what she does, actually. I know who you're
Oh
talking about.
my gosh, I can't forget
What
her
other
name.
movie is she in?
Oh, dude, she's like an Academy Award
I
winner.
forget who it was.
Really? Then why can't we know her name?
I just can't remember what her name is. I see her face, but they've gotten these significant actors. They've had, oh my God, in Thor, they had Anthony Hopkins. They have these big names, and so to have Annette Bening in there, who I haven't seen in such a long time, come out and do just a really good job with her performance.
With the pocketbook and the...
Oh, Annette Bening, yes.
Yeah, Annette Bening.
She
I
was
think
good.
everybody wants to
I
be in a
think Jude
superhero
Law was
movie
good.
right now.
I think
Jude Law, let me just say, Jude Law's having a fantastic... He is doing everything. He's
Law's
in
done
Marvel
everything.
movies.
Yeah.
He's in Marvel movies. He was in Spielberg movies. He just did Harry Potter. He's Dumbledore. Like, he's good.
Yeah,
he is
he's
doing
always been
everything.
good.
You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, he is really kind of.
But what he has is connected
what's
himself in a
amazing,
lot of
too?
these series.
His
though.
hairline came back as well. Like, he was
Yeah.
going bald. He had a full set of hair in this movie. I was like, Jude Law, go ahead.
Money
man.
can make it happen.
He's like, I'm trying to save my head. Like,
But I mean, like, he's gotten himself inserted in some major franchises.
yeah, in major series. Like, he's in Sherlock. He's in Harry Potter. He's in
in
Marvel
some big
Universe.
things.
I mean, just the royalties on the Harry Potter and this alone.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you that he's in Star Wars Episode 9. We just don't know it yet.
Oh, that's another thing. Ben Mendelsohn. He was in Star Wars. Now
Yeah.
he's doing this.
I know.
He was in the Rogue One. He was the villain in Rogue One.
He was a great villain. in
He was
Rogue One.
fantastic.
Rogue One was a good movie.
Okay, so he got a Star Wars check.
And now
Disney dislikes him.
yeah, and he did a
Well, you can't piss Disney off. They're too big now.
And
They
he
do
is
everything.
good. Ben Mendelsohn he's just great.
I really liked him in this film. He was great.
And
He's such a good actor. I
know.
always loved him.
He's good.
they're
He's
allowing
great.
these actors to show a lot of different range now.
I guess so.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah, they're giving him a lot of good time.
No.
So the movie as a whole, I thought, I disagree with the critics a lot. I think that the movie was very good. I see why they probably put it in here. You needed somebody new for Avengers Endgame, and I also have a theory that the Skrulls are going to play some sort of role. I don't know what. I have no idea of how it's going to play, but they're introducing two races. Well, no, one race, because we've already seen the Kree.
Correct.
We saw them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's who Star-Lord was fighting. So this is our first introduction to the Skrulls.
Wait, who was he
Wait a
fighting?
minute.
He fought Ronan.
Ronan is a Kree?
Yeah.
The blue people are Kree?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the whole villain of the end of Guardians 1.
The Kree are a
forget
makeup of a lot of different planets and cultures and races.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're
Wait,
united
so is
under a
Nova
banner.
Corps Kree?
No. They're a separate entity. That's
gotcha.
why the Ronan came and he was trying to attack Nova Corps.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get the whatever item they had, whatever
Yeah,
Infinity Stone they had.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, like the Skrull came back in, and they bring it into this movie, right?
But we've never seen him, so that makes me think like they might have a role, especially given their abilities.
Yeah, and especially if you know comic book history,
And there's a lot of
So,
stories.
It's a lot of stories with the Skrull, which is my theory about what they're going to continue to do after Infinity Wars. But just seeing them on screen for the first time, and just the makeup. And just like seeing the abilities and action in this movie, it's just cool. So I'm like, okay, they can actually do the scores.
No, they did a good job with it.
Yeah, so I was like, they can actually do it amazing.
They did a good job watching the transition when they morphed into different beings. Was really, really good. I thought they did I really, really liked this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked all of because they introduced a lot of things, and it didn't feel like information overload.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we developed into this universe. We may not can do what Dad suggested earlier. You could put this movie any place. Like, this movie is really sci-fi and spacey a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, we had to walk up to it. We take for granted what dynamic that Doctor Strange or the Guardians of the Galaxy brought to the MCU. So, like, maybe we couldn't do it without those films beforehand. At least the Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it also, even some of the characters in this give context to the other films.
Yeah.
Like Jimon Hansu playing the same character that he was in Guardians 1. And that very short little cameo. Then that gives context to that whole thing. Oh, now I see what Star-Lord was doing, who he was going up against. In the very beginning of Guardians 1, when he gets arrested, he was like, they call me Star-Lord. And Jimon Hansu was like, who? He's the same character.
That's him?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So now you're like, oh, now I understand what that scene that makes more sense.
They wrapped it all. They're tying it all together.
Everything's coming together, and that's really cool.
Man, like, yeah, and that's how I feel about Captain Marvel as a whole. I feel like the film is not bad. It's all right. It's good. It's enjoyable. It doesn't break the mold of Marvel. It doesn't fall short of it. It just kind of fits in that place. But it actually, what this film does is add a lot of lore to what you've already known about the previous films, and like just connecting the universe more of what's previously.
It just connects the dots.
It really does, because
Yeah.
it's like there was always like this gap, sorry to cut you off, between like what happens on Earth and like the space adventures.
Yeah.
And Infinity Wars was the first one to really bridge that gap together, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And now Captain Marvel is bridging that gap a little bit more and giving context of like what are the galactic politics going on right now that, that Earth is involved in. So.
And who knows how that's going to play in Avengers?
Well, okay. Now, who was the father of the Star-Lord guy? What was his race called?
He was his own. He was like a god.
He was a
he's
god,
one
I
of
don't
like the
know.
gods. I forget what they're.
But he was over a race of people.
No, I mean, he created a bunch of. He was an ego.
Because it's also at the same time. It's about this time that he came down and got with Star-Lord's mom. It's this whole time.
No, this is the time that Star Wars gets taken away.
Yeah.
He leaves in the 90s.
He leaves in the... So if this was in the 90s, this is about the time he gets abducted.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all...
Storylines are concurrently happening, so it's just... It's pretty gnarly to see it.
It's fascinating because brought up a good point. How Avengers Infinity War brought in like all the galactic stuff.
Yeah.
Right, but Thanos' idea was to destroy half of everything. Everything.
Yeah.
So now that we have introductions to all these different races, all their different cultures, we now can get a chance to see the impact that the snap has had outside of Earth.
Yeah, it seems like the galactic species are not so alienated from how it was happening in the MCU no more.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice, and like it just builds on the lore and just seeing what's connecting, and like I guess when watching the film I didn't really see it, but just going back and analyzing it, it just really like Dad said earlier, he connected those dots, oh, okay, so this began this event, and now he heals this person, he heals that person, so it really brings it together, and gives it more of a rich history. So,
and I personally I really like this film. I don't think it's like one of their best films they've ever done, but it's not one of the worst either. It's a little bit above middle of the road. If we were on a scale of 1 to 10, I might give it like a 7 because it doesn't do anything completely out of the box like Doctor Strange did and give you something like completely different that you're not used to seeing. But it does, like, not only does it tie everything together, I like her story. I like the dynamic between the races and the Kree and the Skrull battle and everything that's kind of surrounding that and the S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's just, I like how all of that fit together. And it worked for me. I enjoyed it. I was actually entertained by the whole film.
I'm right there with you on those regards. Did not really like Captain Marvel so much. I didn't like her acting dynamic with Samuel L. Jackson in this film. I think the film is a 7, like you said, and I echo all the same sentiments that you just had. But Captain Marvel, man, maybe I'm just a little bit tired and like I couldn't really get into it, but I just wasn't really feeling her.
Yeah,
like,
she was very.
I wasn't really feeling her at all, and just like her jokes were not hitting for me. It felt forced more than usual. It just like, I don't know.
I was 50-50 with her. She was hitting sometimes and off sometimes.
She was a little flat. She was a little flat.
Because, like, I see the jokes, some of the setups, like, I don't know. It's just, they couldn't decide whether or not she was super serious or goofy. So when she was serious the entire time, like on a mission, and then she does these goofy moments.
But that's how she is kind of in the comic book. She's kind of out of control. She only respects Captain America. It's the only person she expects.
But she never...
She calls him Army all the time.
But she doesn't bounce back and forth. She just was flat, and like I can see where Josh is coming from. Like, I don't think that Brie Larson was the best choice to play her. Yeah. Like, she has the look, but I don't think she has her acting style just doesn't fit to me.
Yeah, I think when her punchlines are coming, it's supposed to come off as like she's a soldier, so it's supposed to be like snotty or something, like a quick jabs, but she's just playing it off like, oh, she's just trying to crack a joke, and smile. So it wasn't for me. So maybe that's something she'll grow in her second film. I don't see her character changing it in game.
Well, I'm not
sure.
It's just
too close together.
At the beginning, I thought she was just the way she was because
stuck with her now.
Because she didn't know, she didn't have a memory. So she only knew like what the Kree had told her, and they were very militaristic. So I thought, okay, she's just being she's trying to let her personality shine through, but she's forced to be so straight that it's kind of hard. But then as the movie progressed, that didn't change. And so I thought, no, that's just her.
Yeah,
I don't know. After a while, you could get into her.
It was better.
It got better. She was believable.
It got better when
in their storyline.
The other,
some of the other characters got introduced.
When some of the later characters in the film get introduced, like the whole dynamic was a little bit better with them.
I agree.
Yeah, so
I would agree with that.
I can't mention the later characters.
No, I don't want to talk about too
if
many
that's in the trailer
characters.
or not. So. Can't really elaborate on that point, but...
It was a much better movie than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be cheesy and something that would be easily forgettable. I thought Marvel was going to have a real bomb, but surprisingly, it was pretty good. The jokes, they were okay, but the jokes that she wasn't delivering were good. The stuff that you saw visually, the things that were happening on the screen,
I mean, yeah,
I thought
everybody
were
else.
excellent.
Everybody else
funny.
was perfect. Like Ben Mendelsohn, Samuel L. Jackson, they were all great. They were hilarious in their jokes. Like they had the perfect timing and knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Loeb is still running this overall venture.
You keep saying Jeff Loeb. It's Kevin Feige. It's not Jeff Loeb.
I keep thinking it's Jeff Loeb.
I don't know why.
Because he's producing everything, and he's the overall.
Well, I think Jeff
for
Loeb's
Marvel.
in charge of DC, right? He's doing the stories for DC.
Or maybe Jeff Loeb is in charge of the
he's
TV
in charge
shows.
of Marvel.
He might be in charge of the TV shows. There's two different groups, but he's not doing the movies. It's Kevin Feige who does.
I know
the
he's doing something.
But he was, I think, overall artistic vision or something like that.
No, it's Feige. He's the top guy for all the Marvel stuff. He reports directly to the head of Disney. For what is it? Iger? What's his name?
Nah, he's gone.
Jeff Loeb,
whoever the CEO is of Disney.
I don't know. Well, anyway, whoever's doing this is really paying a good attention to detail and really tying the story together, like we said. Be interesting to see exactly where they're going to go.
Yeah. And I like that they played homage to Stan Kirby. I mean, Jesus Christ. Stan Lee, I merged two people.
See?
I merged two people. It's too late.
Yeah.
Dude, rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee. They did a great job.
Was this his last?
I think this is his last appearance, yeah.
Okay.
You think so? I think he's going to be in games.
No, I don't. I think they mentioned it when he passed that he was doing a whole bunch and then he got really sick and he couldn't do anymore. And I think this was the last one. He might be in Avengers Endgame, but I think this might be the last one.
Because you look forward to seeing that little.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And there it is. A nice little setup.
I think Marvel has the foresight to take Stan Lee for a day. Like, we're just going to put you behind a green screen and just do a bunch of scenarios.
No, they did. They did. They literally said that. They went and did so much footage. So they might be able to add him into Endgame.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Maybe, but from what I understood, this was his last appearance. That's why they had the opening Marvel thing the way that it was.
I'm really happy for that he actually got to see the full realization of his dream on screen. He had been trying to sell this stuff to Hollywood for years and never could get it sold. And then when they did it wrong. But he was happy with where it was going. And
tell that to Bill Maher, man.
Bill Maher?
Yeah.
What, he doesn't like it or something?
Oh, no, man. When Stan Lee passed away, Bill Maher, the guy that does the night show.
Yeah, we know who he is.
He just kind of I don't know how to say it, but diss Stan Lee. He's like, oh, Stan Lee dies are great and everything. You guys, he was.
Really?
Yeah, he was just.
There's a lot of
I don't know how to say. It's like you cut it out in the editing, but like on his legacy and saying it's not a big deal, So
there's a lot of people that don't give him the credit because he did.
Like I read grown-up books. I had like comics when I was a kid.
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
Like,
I thought he was talking about the history.
He's like, why do you guys? Yeah, he's like, why you guys like Stanley? He didn't change the world. Like I like comic books when I was a kid.
He did change the world,
but like I grew up and I started reading adult books. So
the point was to be able to escape this world for a moment, enjoy yourself in fantasy and imagination.
He's criticizing particularly my generation and anybody older that thinks that he has any value of still like
that sounds like a person who didn't have a childhood because he did change the world.
He did. I mean, it's a lot of things. It's like
I mean,
the world's designed for you to like when you reach a certain age to give up on the things that make you happy. And my philosophy is that life is too short to disregard anything that make you happy.
People just do that. It's not designed to make you give up on things.
Yeah, people do it because they think they're supposed to. Or
that's what I'm saying. They're like, oh, you reach a certain age, you shouldn't be into this or shouldn't do that. I said, yo, if something's making you happy, like life is too short to worry about. Like, no, keep doing the things that are making you happy.
Things that bring you
joy.
A minute of joy every day. You should find a way to take an hour and get joy.
That's what he does. Apparently, he likes just talking smack about people.
I guess
that's what makes him happy. Feeling better.
Political commentary and all that.
I mean, that's just Bill Maher, man. That's just him. So.
Yeah, that is him. So, people, you heard our thoughts on the movie, and it seems like we all pretty much liked it. And I think that if you are a fan of the Marvel Universe, you should give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great lead up and a great way to hype yourself up for Avengers next month. And, there's a cat in there.
We do like the movie. I really did like the movie. But I'm trying to control my enthusiasm so I don't give away anything out of the movie because both my sons tell me I always do that. I'm not trying to give away any spoilers, but I really do like the movie. So I'm capping my enthusiasm only not to make a mistake.
You did a good job, Dad. You get a
Oh, well,
job.
geez, do I get a gold star?
Yeah, you get
No,
a sticker this
Wow,
week.
you guys gonna take me out of the old folks' home this week?
Yeah.
No, you got to get 5 gold
Jeez.
stars for that.
Oh,
5 gold stars.
Before you wheel me to the corner and leave me by the post box?
We'll
Okay.
take you into the store.
Can I have a Slurpee?
No, no,
Blood pressure.
can't do it. Well, thank you all for joining us once again. We hope you enjoyed our impromptu little review of Captain Marvel. We'll be back next week with another movie. I don't know what movie it's going to be. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. You'll find out when we actually do the review when it goes up. You guys have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No.
Rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Rest in peace, Stanley. Is always good.
No, you gave us a lot of good time, good adventure, good escapism. Point us toward the stars and different things. I did appreciate. I enjoyed my childhood. I enjoyed reading your books.
Yeah. Same here. Rest in peace, Stanley.
All right. Thank you guys once again for joining us, and we will see you again next time on Review After Watching.
This has been an Audio Mind production.